1987 Vauxhall Astra GTE. This is one of the most original Astra GTEs we've had in a long time. Relatively high in the mileage, 180,000 miles, but then contradictory, it is easily one of the cleanest ones we've had in a long time. I think partly down to the fact that it is one owner from new, as in 0 former keepers. Guy that bought it new is the only one on the logbook. It was sold in Scotland by AT Mays Vauxhall when it was new, and it's done a lot of journeys, I believe, from Aberdeen down over the border and back once a week. But we're gonna have a good look around it. We'll go right through it. But like I said, it is easily one of the cleanest ones we've had in. If you put a quarter of that mileage on the clock, you'd believe it. It's ridiculous. Let's start by having a look at the bodywork. If we look down this driver's side, you can see lovely and straight all the way down there. It's not full of filler. There's a couple of streaks where we've polished it quite badly, but ignore that. Like I say, all the panels lovely and straight all the way down. Starting on this front driver's wing, nice and clean all the way around there. There's not really any marks to note. The arch itself, obviously you've got this plastic protector going all the way around, but where it meets that, you can see lovely and clean. There's no sign of any corrosion or anything coming through there. Nice and clean along the lip where it meets the bumper. Original spec wheels, and it's got Uniroyal Rain Experts all the way around. 4 matching tyres, standard 14-inch wheels with the centre caps. They're lovely and clean and tidy. Have a good look underneath the car from here as well. Again, nice and tidy under there. Coming down the driver's side, yeah, nice and clean down the bottom here. You can have a bit of a corrosion hotspot down there, but that's all good. All the GTE sticker in, nice and clear. Plastics on this car are really good. They're bright, shiny, they're not covered in back to black or anything like that, as are the rubber seals around the windows. On the bottom of that seal there, again, nice and tidy. Around the wing mirror, that's all good. You get this sort of sill cover on the GTE, which you get on this one. See there, nice and tidy all the way along. We've got one little mark there, which actually is dust, ignore that. Nice and clean down the driver's door, tidy around the handle and the lock. Even the door shuts themselves are all good. Coming up this A-pillar, no signs of any stone chips. Around that seal, it's lovely and tidy. All the glass has the correct stamps on it for the reg. I've got one little stone chip just there, just been touched in, but other than that, all good. The roof is lovely and flat. It's not ripply or look like a golf ball or anything like that. All your plastic covers on the roof rails are still there. And again, the plastic for the roof rail is nice and tidy. You've got this sort of satin black bit on the GTE, which matches the rear boot lid. This one does have a slight scratch just on there. Someone sort of caught it as they've gone past, I think. Again, like I say, stamped up on the glass all the way around. All the glass is nice and clear. It's not ingrained with scratching or anything like that. Coming down the rear quarter, and again, you can get a bit of moisture trapped in here, but lovely and clean around there. As is this rear arch, nice and sharp all the way around. Another good wheel and Uniroyal tyre. One of the other sort of corrosion hotspots is in the filler cap, so I'm gonna grab the key and take that off because you can get a bit of rust hiding in there sometimes. When was the last time you saw an Astra GT where the door key, the single key, fits the ignition, the doors and the filler cap? That's just unheard of these days. It's only about 10 sets of keys by now. And again, in here, nice and clean and fresh, as you can see. Coming down the rear quarter, nice and tidy around that louvered section. And round on the back, both tail lights are bright and clear. They're not cracked with any moisture in. The satin section is lovely and tidy, as you can see. Rear bumper sits nice and straight. Even the plastic trim along the bottom is good. Have a little look underneath from here as well. Underneath the spoiler where the window seal sits, again, nice and tidy all the way along. Spoiler itself is all good. It's not been used to lift the boot up and down. Got a slight mark just in the satin section there if we're going to be really picky. On the rest of the screen, all nice and tidy, and again, another stamped window. Coming around on the passenger side, if we look up from here again, you can see lovely and straight, not full of ripples or dents or anything like that. Down this seam on both sides is all good. Another tidy rear arch, there's no sign of any sort of corrosion coming through there. Another good wheel with a Uniroyal. Glass on this side, all stamped up again. And then another look at the roof from here. Like I say, all this plastic, nice and smooth, not dried out or brittle. Glass on this side, nice and clear, no ingrained scratching or anything on that. Have a little look underneath the car from here as well. You see, especially on that sill, it's not been jacked up wrong or smashed up any curves or anything like that. Not really any marks on the bodywork to note, to be fair. Around the handles on this side again, nice and tidy. On the bottom of the screen, that's good. Or the window, sorry. Around the wing mirror, nice and tidy. Up the A-pillar there, all good. Plastic along the front, where it meets the screen. Again, nice and tidy. And then this final arch, that's all nice and clean. And your final matching Uniroyal tyre on the 14-inch alloys with the centre caps. Round up the front. All the lights on both sides are clear and bright, no cracks or anything in those. If we're going to be really picky for me, I think the bumper wants a slight adjustment, sitting down a little bit. They normally do on these things, but it just wants to sit a little bit tighter. The easiest way to do that normally is just a new set of clips and tighten it up a bit. Bonnet itself, lovely and clear. There's no sort of ripples or dents in that. Nice and tidy around the vents. Front edge, we've got one. You can just see it in the camera there, one very small stone chip has been touched in there. Another tiny one there, but we are being really picky with that. So overall, bodywork wise, lovely and tidy. Best colour for a GTE for me. And then, like I mentioned earlier, nice and original. The interior's not been messed with, it's not on silly wheels or lowered or anything like that. Lovely and clean on that driver's side door card. This material always looks dirty in the camera, but it is just the shade. If you get nice and close, you can see. Lovely and clean and tidy. Now again, if you compare this to some of the other equivalent cars of the type, 180,000 miles on a seat like that, and that is the only wear. Apparently it's had a seat cover on for most of its life. Tiny little bit of ingrained dirt there, which looks to me like it would steam clean out. Usual GTE thing where the seats have got a little bit of sag in them, or the covers have. But again, that steam clean will tighten that up. Pretty much look like that from new as well, which is kind of ridiculous. Most importantly for me, no aftermarket alarms or immobilizers fitted. If we turn the ignition on, that digi-dash, clear, bright, there's not a single pixel or anything missing from that. Like I say, 180,029 miles, which again, if it wasn't there, you just wouldn't believe it. Lovely and clean on that dash top, no cracking, nothing stuck to it or anything like that. All the switch gear, bright and clear. You've still got the tape holder sort of set in the bottom. Electric mirror switch on the gear stick and the steering wheel. All lovely and clean. Headlining, it's nice and tidy. Backs of the seats are good, they've not been sort of kicked or abused or anything like that. Those back seats sort of have been used hardly at all, but again, if it's one owner and the chap didn't use the back seats, it's never going to have been used, is it? Really nice and clean back there. Pull the bonnet while we're here. Coming around into the boot. And again, the parcel shelf hasn't been cut for speakers or anything like that. Carpet set in the boot. Nice and clean and tidy. The backs of the seats are good there. All this plastic. There's no real scratches or anything on that. Quite often they can be sort of scratched and gouged. You've got one very light scratch just here and there on the thresh for the boot. But for a car of the age and mileage, you could definitely say that's a good thing. Right, into the boot, we've got another matching Uniroyal tyre. Correct spare wheel. We've got the jack, the brace, screwdriver, all that sort of stuff. But the boot floor, as you can see, lovely and clean. No sign of any moisture, no sign of any corrosion coming through there. Really, really good. And the rams are nice and strong on the boot lid. Every GTE we get in seems to have weak rams, but this one, all good. Nice and clean on that passenger door card. Door shut on this side, just as good as the other side. Lovely and clean and tidy. Carpet set's nice and tidy. It's not got any ingrained dirt on it. Dash on this side is lovely. Normally down here is sort of a bit kicked and abused, but as you can see, that's nice. And the passenger seat, really, really good. No signs of any wear at all. Bolsters are so firm and tight. Really, really good. Obviously been a well cared for car all of its life. One owner from new is no good if the guy didn't care about the car or abused it, but definitely don't think that's the case on this one. It's obviously been well looked after. And then moving into the engine, what looks to be a nice standard engine bay, nice and clean around the strut tops and the inner wings, and along this panel at the front. A little bit of a paint flake there, but again, I am being really picky with that. Lovely and clean on the engine. Look underneath, nothing dropped on the floor. We'll get it started up. Like I say, that digital dash, lovely and clear. All your lights up the top there are good. Starts on the button. It's got a flashing light telling me we haven't got much fuel in there. But other than that, no warning lights, all good. Nice and smooth around the front. We'll go around the back. Nothing nasty flying out the exhaust. So there you have it. One owner from new Vauxhall Astra GTE. If you've got any questions at all, please get in touch. Of course, you can come and see the car. Just let us know and we'll book you in. If you can't get to see it, we can do video calls. We can send you photos or videos, anything you might need. You've just got to let us know. Thank you.